That's how the world was when we last checked. But even as we speak, the world speaks back in 100 voices. So who better as a guide through the polyglot psychobabble than the man with 101 voices? Our media-wise advisor for tonight, the one and only Rory Bremner. Rory, some of us in the political observation business think that the government crisis over EC voting was rather obscured by double talk. Can you shed any light on that?
Yeah, I think it's a pity that BBC haven't got John Cole anymore to really sort of scythe through all this sort of stuff and say, well, what John Major may lose in the swings of European opinion, he'll undoubtedly lose on the roundabouts of his own backbenches. But it's not very simple, Clive. It's very simple, very simple to explain to you. It's all about majority voting, don't forget. It's not about winning. It's not the winning that counts. It's the taking part, and we were taking part very comprehensively, weren't we? Pay attention. Very, very important. It's an important issue. Very, very important issue. Very important issue. Qualified majority voting. We oppose it utterly, which is why we supported it in Lisbon 18 months ago. Just a bit of fun that was. Just a bit of fun. That's all it was. Don't forget. But you don't give in. You don't give in. You say, this is my position. This is what I'm sticking to. I'm absolutely sticking to this. We'll fight you on the beaches. We'll fight you anywhere you like. And then you give in. And that's negotiation. Marvelous.
That's a better Peter Snow than Peter Snow. You must have watched him at that sand tray for hours.
He's taking off the shoes and stuff at He's got those wonderful, like, suede shoes and things. I think he was in a rock band in the 50s. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you step on those? Well, you could, but that's just a bit of fun. Don't forget.
Do you think we've adopted the right negotiating position?
Well, I think this is actually last week. This is the Geoffrey Boycott School of Diplomacy, isn't it? No, you don't go into Europe to win. You don't want to win, you just want to block. That's what it's not about doing anything, it's about stopping them doing anything. That's what it's all about.
Are you impressed with our Foreign Secretary?
It's funny, because all last week it was all the stories about Douglas Hurd in Greece, and I thought, my God, he's gone into a musical with Olivia Newton. Summer-loving Courtney Blast. met a meeting of European Council ministers, crazy for me. It's funny, because I don't think he's even happy with the position. You want to ask to say, you know, are you happy with your negotiating position? And you'll see him go, yes, entirely. But I think it's very important. Everyone knows the system needed changing. I don't think anyone does. Because we haven't won a vote in Europe since Bucks Fizz. And there was one called Making Your Mind Up, funnily enough. I think it's Making Your Mind Up. I think the one for him is Puppet on a String. I like that. Excellent.
Let's move on to big game, Rory, with... it's not been a happy week for the Prime Minister, John Major.
No, it hasn't. He's kind of been saved by the bell with Easter, really, hasn't he? It's kind of like he was on the ropes. I think he's actually now preparing for his big autumn speech, a little autumn number, and it begins with the words, anyone want to buy a copy of The Big Issue?
You've got a disturbing amount of inside knowledge about the government. You don't tap their phones by any chance, do you, Rory?
We did, doing the Channel 4 series last year, we were just starting off and we were wondering, you know, what we could do to move things on a little bit. So I did ring up a couple of, I think Eurosceptics is a word. No, it's not, bastards is the word. But, I sort of rang a couple of them. John Major was in Malaysia at the time. Oh, in fact, he was in mid-air flying back, and we sort of got their home
You were
numbers.
pretending to be Major, is that?
I rang up. And a couple of them fell for it. I'm afraid one of the Eurosceptics, who shall remain clueless, said... He sort of answered the pick, and said, hello, can I speak to... oh, yes, fine. Oh, lovely, John, lovely to speak to you. And we had this conversation, long conversation about... now, what have you been saying behind my back? Come on, I want to know. And the extraordinary thing was like opening a safe door and finding that all the money's in there, because he didn't suspect anything. So he went on and had this conversation about, well, no, I've been supporting you through Hill and Dale. And this is someone who'd said that week that it would be better if Major went sooner rather than later. And he said, well, no, John, I'm concerned about the unemployed. I said, I know, I just don't want to join them. That's my point. Now, I want you to come to the Conservative Party conference. And he said, well, look, I wasn't really planning on coming to the Conservative... No, I want you there speaking to the right... Will you come and dance with me on the last night? And he said, yes. There you are. There's the Eurosceptics for you.
Well, Prince Edward's showbiz career is flourishing. I read about that. His
Yes.
TV company is actually making a programme.
They're doing a bit of...
Top Gear Christmas special for the BBC. Big stuff.
They're big into sort of vehicles and cars. He's doing something... They haven't revealed what it is, but they're going to be doing an in-depth study of some particular vehicle. I think it's the Imperial State Coach. You know, it's marvellous. It's wonderful, tremendous piece of equipment. It actually goes from 0 to 60 in... well, we've never had the space to do it. I mean, by the time you've gone 40, I mean, you're halfway up Nelson's column. They have this thing, don't they, about travel. The royal family, I don't know if you read last year, Prince Philip has bought a taxi. Yeah. So, I mean, people going home tonight might get into a taxi and see a familiar cranium from behind. Say, yes, and another thing, these foreigners, they come over here, they take our jobs, they marry our monarchy. I tell you what, these royal separations are like buses. You wait for one for 30 years and 3 of them come along at once. See, and none of them's the one you want either, no.
Yorkshire have produced a copy of the Bible in Yorkshire dialect. Have you seen this?
Yes, it's weird. It's a strange thing. It's got things like, there's a plague of locusts. Make wilderness look like arrogant flower shows. I think this should be compulsory for all English cricketers. Should have one of these in their hotel room. Because I think it's been written by Geoffrey Boycott, and you turn through the 10 Commandments and it says, "Thou shalt not play Curtly Ambrose off the back foot." Don't do it. It's got a cracking beginning. It's a great beginning tomorrow. It said, "God created the world in 7 days. The light bit he called day, the dark bit he called Lancashire."
Well, the BBC has leapt into the 20th century with the launch of a new radio channel, Radio 5 Live. It's got rolling news and sport. And will you be tuning into that?
I shall. Speeding towards the latest bypass on the information superhighway comes a new radio station courtesy of the Mitsubishi Wishy-Washy Plenty-Doshy satellite tracking system and Oriental Walk Substitute. The BBC brings you a radio with so much testosterone it makes Arnold Schwarzenegger look like Dr. Ruth. It is, in fact... Doctor.
It is, you're going to have this wonderful mixture of news and sport. You're going to have sort of like news done by sports commentators. You're going to be opened up with Desmond Lynam saying, "Hi there, tell you what, glad you could join us. The score for those of you who've just got in, Europe won, Britain didn't. Had some elections this week in Italy. Let's go over and join our election correspondent, Bill McLaren. Well, of course, out here in Italy, it's a big victory for Berlusconi, and things are exciting. They're so excited in the streets of Naples tonight, I tell you. Let's join Nigel Mansell." Well, I don't think I've ever seen so many happy people. I mean, everyone here is just so totally delighted. I mean, it's... And mind you, of course, this guy, Berlusconi, bit of a well, I wouldn't say he's right-winger, but Tony Underwood's place is in a bit of danger. But these guys are taking over Europe up in Russia. Of course, they've got Zhirinovsky, and he's hoping to take over the Baltic states. Let's join Murray Walker. And there goes Estonia, there goes Latvia, there goes Lithuania. That is absolutely incredible. Back now to Italy and Bill McLaren. Well, that's not been seen here since the 1930s. I think you'll find, actually, Bill, if you look into the records, you'll find there was actually somebody in 1930 killed Benito Mussolini. So there we go. It's taking over Europe, the right wing, and they'll be dancing in the streets of Tower Hamlets tonight, I tell you.
Rory, we have to stop.
Thank you very much, Rory Bremner. Thank you.